Hello friends, welcome to S. Kumar IAS. So we were studying the political science series, and in particular we were studying political theory. We understood the meaning of political theory, and then we studied different approaches, the traditional one, and then we were studying the modern approaches, and we saw the two declines of political theory. We saw the behavioral movement, and today we are supposed to study post behavioralism. So, post behavioralism was a sort of response to the second decline of political theory. I already explained how the second time political theory declined, and still if you have any question, please do ask in the comment box. We will answer personally. So after the second decline of political theory, the context was social unrest in United States 60s, the hippie movement, the counterculture movement, and political science. By that time there was overemphasis to make it as a pure science, and which was proving in a sense counterproductive, especially in the context of social unrest of United States of 60s. And this was the time that the scholars again started thinking that how to reform the political theory, and famously Theda Paul says that bring the state back. It basically is talking about bring the traditional elements back, the traditional elements of political theory. And David Easton, now the person who was responsible for behavioral revolution, Charles Marion is called the father, and David Easton gives skeleton to behavioral movement. He himself understands his mistake, or so to say, kind of error in the overall framework of behavioralism, and now he calls for the credo of relevance. This is the title of his work, Credo of Relevance. And now he says that there are 7 features. He just gives 7 features that behavioralism itself was not sufficient, that the scholars were sitting in ivory towers, and the purpose of behavioralism was forgotten. So by sitting in ivory towers you cannot make meaningful theories. So ivory towers, if you are sitting, you cannot make meaningful theories. So there must be some kind of reform and re-evaluation of the basic tenets of the theory. And he says that values are definitely required for flourishing human civilization. Human means values. You cannot separate values from the human civilization, and values are definitely required for the flourishing civilization. And he says that political science is applied science and not the pure science. That's very crucial. He during behavioral revolution we studied the different features, and making a pure science was the goal. But now he says that political science is applied science, not a pure science, and he advised for avoiding the mad craze for data, mad craze for statistics, mad craze of science, and he calls for creative theory. The all highlighted words are quite important, and they are very, very crucial. You should remember them for fetching good marks and using them into your answer. So the creative theory means there are 2 different functions, action and relevance. These are the 2 important parts of any creative theory. The action to help in policy formulation, and relevance That means that there should be social relevance. In creative theory, there are two features: the action and relevance. Relevance for society at large, and action which help in formulation of policies. And there was relaxation in techniques for relevance. Okay, he says that technique may not be pure science, like pure data, facts. Values may be there, because without value there cannot be flourishing human civilization. So technique can be relaxed for relevance. If relevance is there, and if data is not available, and if norms are required, that's fine. And at present, if we see the prominent post behavioral approaches, Rawls' theory of justice, which is justice means norms automatically included, then Macpherson's theory of democracy, Amartya Sen's capability approach. We will definitely study all of them in detail in the upcoming lectures, so stay connected with us. And what are the 7 features given by David Easton, or the credo of relevance in the context of post behavioralism? He says that purpose is more important. He invites values. So earlier they called for value free analysis, but now they says that values are invited, purpose is more important, and the capacity to solve the crisis should be there. That's the barometer and that's the benchmark. And values are must for flourishing human civilization. Then political science is an applied science, and the responsibility of political science is greater than the natural sciences, because state controls all the structures, whether science, whether arts, whether economy, whatever. And for state you need political science, and the scientists, the scholars are called political scientists. So political scientist responsibility is greater than this one, because political science ultimately controls all other disciplines. That's why responsibility of political scientist is greater than the natural scientist. And he calls for creative theory, responsibility of political science is greater than natural scientists, applied science, values must for flourishing human civilization, then capacity to solve the crisis, then invites value, and purpose is more important. So that's what is meant by post behavioralism. We try to understand it. Now there are many approaches, other approaches which can be included in post behavioralism. For example, Marxist base superstructure model. It is not the purely traditional, and neither it is the behavioral. So it is base superstructure model. Definitely the society comes into picture, definitely the norms come into the picture. He calls for revolution, and all that stuff is not purely based on the statistics. So that is definitely example of post behavioralism. Then feminist, in feminism they call about patriarchy and all, which comes under norms, so it is also post behavioralism. Then postmodernist, that everything is discourse. Foucault calls that everything is discourse, so it brings another normative dimension. And postmodernism is also part of post behavioralism. And then critical or Frankfurt school, they reject science. So it is definitely because behavioralism supported science, and post behavioralism, not post behavioralism in complete sense, but yes, few schools like critical and Frankfurt, they reject the science. And then contextualist scholars like Skinner and Peacock, and the Derrida calls for construction and deconstruction. We'll study it later on, that every understanding is misunderstanding. Derrida says that every understanding is misunderstanding, and he says that the existing norms are just hegemonic of those who are in power. So actually every understanding is misunderstanding. There is no complete right or wrong. And they brings another normative dimension. And Cambridge school, Skinner, Peacock, they focus on linguistic manner. So all these are, you just need not to, sorry, Skinner and Peacock and Derrida, they are not contextualists, they are postmodernist. They are example of postmodernist. Contextualists are textual and contextual. Like you can just ignore this, because no need to go too much into the details. So that's all. I mean, post behavioralism, you can give example of Marxist, feminist, and critical Frankfurt School, and postmodernism. That's more than sufficient, I think. And with that, we complete the part of political theory, its meaning and approaches. And we hope that we did justice with the topic of political theory, meaning and approaches. We tried our best. Still, if you have some doubt, please do ask in the comment box. We shall personally answer every doubt of yours. So we hope that these videos will definitely add values to your civil services preparation. If you find them useful, please like the videos, please subscribe the channel, and please spread the word like a wildfire, because everybody cannot afford costly coaching in Delhi. Friends, we thank you very much for coming to S. Kumar IAS. Till the next class, stay connected and work hard. Thank you so much.